Hey everybody, I'm Axle1324. Welcome to a very special stream of Halo guys reacting to the Halo TV show on Paramount Plus. Today I'm joined by Halo lore master, Lethal Terminus. Say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for having me, Axel.
Yeah, no problem, man. You know, I thought about this being a pre-recorded video, but I decided to not keep it pre-recorded just because I think it will be much better this way. All right, let's say hello to the chat. Kilomilo was here way early. Hi. By the way, Kilomilo, if you're here, thank you so much for showing up. The only thing he doesn't like is Paramount Plus's awful online video player. All right. I can kind of agree with that. It's not optimized like Netflix or Disney Plus at all. Crazy Greek dude is joining us. Yo, thank you so much for your support. Of course, I am also joined here by my lovely wife, Luis Vivian, my number one fan. Thank you so much for supporting me, wife. I appreciate you so much. All right, so let's just get right into it. So we're gonna go scene by scene here, Lito and I, and we're gonna just talk about starting off with the colony Madrigal. Now, Lito, does Madrigal exist in the Halo universe before this?
I believe it does, if I'm right. It's basically just a insurrectionist colony.
An insurrectionist colony. All right. Yeah, so it does exist. So that's great. So Madrigal, oh, hold on. We're joined here by Jasmine Maldonado. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hello. Appreciate you. By the way, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this out. It really helps the channel grow. So we're giving this kind of quick intro into Madrigal. It looks like a desertish type planet with some rare forest on it, and it looks like they're harvesting water from all the way around the planet. They're bringing in water with all these pipes into this little rebel outpost. So is that what the rebels were fighting for in the Halo lore, Lito? What exactly did the rebels want freedom from the UNSC for?
For them, it's nothing in specific, like just water. It's more or less just they just disagree with the ideologies that the UNSC brings.
All right, so just rebels in general. Now, another thing that I did notice in the lore when these people are talking, here we go, the rebel groups, they're talking about the Spartans. So they know the Spartans exist. They know that Spartans can't be killed by rebels. But they are also aware of the Covenant existing 2 years before. Is that true in the lore that even after the Covenant came in, the rebels still wanted to rebel?
Yeah, it's not just the covenants, more or less. It's a lot of the stuff they do is based on what the UNSC tells them. They're always looking on the TV, looking at the propaganda they give, and all this stuff is just basically what encapsulates their life. All of this stuff is just based on the UNSC, and they're trying to break free from that.
Hey, who isn't, man? I would love to break free from all the things holding us back. Give me 1 second here. I'm having some issues real quick. So let's talk about this rebel group now. If you watch the show, you know that none of these characters really matter, which is kind of sad because you kind of get to like some of them in the short time they're in there. Hey Axel, who are you wearing? I'm not wearing anybody. I'm watching the Oscars too. I did not know that I'm competing with the Oscars. Oh man, that's tough competition. So I'm wearing the same shirt I was wearing this morning for Good Morning Xbox. I changed the hat to my Halo Outpost Discovery hat, and that's what I'm doing. But when you say who, I don't know. GameStop. This outfit was made possible by GameStop. Yeah. So I especially love the little banter they got going back and forth. The that they're trying to use the Spartans as a tool to unite the colonies and stop the rebellion without killing them, if you will. So that's kind of nice. They kind of figured that they need the numbers. I think the UNSC figured that out really early. So I think that's where they want to bring the rebels in to the UNSC. Am I correct in that assumption there, Lethal?
Yeah, absolutely. They want to try and unite everyone, but it's not really working out for them because the UNSC has this kind of unition mentality, but that doesn't really work for the kind of they're imposing.
Okay. Right. And so then, do you want to say anything about this scene right here, the bar scene when they were playing and talking and all that good stuff?
Well, definitely shows they're close, if nothing else. They're close to each other, they're family. They just want to be independent. They don't want all of this surrounding them.
Right. So then moving on to the next scene. So then, we go to the forest. The kids are over there getting high off of what was that root they were eating? It was heavy with hydrogen.
Something like that, yeah. Powered their ships and drugs, they said.
Yeah, it powers their ships. I forget what it was. Hold on, let me look it up real quick because I'm sure I have it. Let's see. So, looking it up real quick, chat. Where did I brought this up to see? Let's see. Quan, they killed Quan. Blah blah blah. OP, SON, da da da. Madrigal's abundance of heavy hydrogen. Yeah, there we go. So it is heavy hydrogen, which, as if you know anything about space, hydrogen is the most abundant gas in the universe. So it makes sense. Hey, real quick, say shout out to General Spartan. Milo, I'm watching Power Force. Thank you so much for joining in, General Spartan. And chat, be sure to chime in on anything. So the Covenant comes in, they come in hot and heavy, no warning, and no warning shots. They get straight to the killing, which I love. Because if you read the lore, the Covenant has always been kind of that whole shock and awe style of offense. They don't give anybody any opportunity to react. They surprise and they give zero F's about anything else. So what do you think about that scene? How the Covenant just came in hot and heavy and just started murdering?
No, these scenes are brutal, absolutely brutal. These insurrectionists didn't stand a chance at all. Basically, they're AK-47s for the equivalent of someone shooting you with a BB gun when you had a bulletproof vest on. It's not doing anything at all.
Right? Yeah, exactly what I thought. As soon as I saw that they were Sanghili elites, because I thought they were Jirahani at first. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna send in the 40 to break the line, right? And as soon as I was like, either way, it didn't matter. Elites, Jirahana, these insurrectionists, they got nothing.
Oh yeah.
They got nothing, and the murdering started. And man, what a fantastic scene! I don't know who directed this scene, but kudos to that person. The whole ambush thing. Now, I love this shot here because it's a close up of one of the Jirahani. So they did give him skin. It's kind of a mix of. It kind of looks like the underside of a snake skin, where the scales aren't there, but it's still reptilian in nature. They have the 4 jaw pieces here. The snout, the eyes, everything looks accurate to what I know. The neck is thicker than the game neck, the necks of the Jirahani in the game, but otherwise, what do you think, Lethal, of the way they appear?
Yeah, just a small correction. They are Sanghili, but
sorry, Sanghili. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. But they're definitely thicker. That's for sure. Their physique is fine. Like I don't have any problem with their face or any of that. It's the armor that's a bit strange, but I don't mind it.
All right, tell me about the armor. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this armor. What do you got?
It sounds, or not sounds, it seems more traditional for sure. Instead of just this technologically advanced kind of armor, they seem to have went for more like a ceremonial kind of armor.
You know what? I noticed that too. Because the armor in all the games is very shiny, and this was not. But I do love that they have. Here we go. This looks more accurate. But I do love that they have symbols on them. Probably some sort of rank or unit insignia right here.
Yeah, so those are Covenant symbols they have.
Yeah. I don't know what they mean, but hey, they're there. Right here where he breaks in and starts shooting. I believe this is where all the children are. Is that correct?
That is, yeah, he just fired off on them.
Yeah. Which again goes back to that brutality of the Covenant. Love it. 0 F's given. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. And then in comes Chief, the superhero landing. So this is, we learned later on that this is Mjolnir. Is it Mjolnir?
Is it Mjolnir? Yes.
Yeah, Mjolnir. Mjolnir Mark 6 armor. So I believe in Halo Combat Evolved he had Mark 4. And this has fast forwarded all the way to Mark 6. So tell me about Mark 6 armor. What is so special about it? And is this accurate to Mark 6?
More or less, the design looks accurate, all things considered. The Mark 6, in comparison to the older ones, is mainly just upgrades in every fashion, shield, strength, different kind of biometrics and whatnot, everything that just enhances everything even more. You kind of see that. On a side note, if you look at the Red Team versus Aatrox scene versus Master Chief and Aatrox, how much better Chief did in the fight, even though he still lost. And that's because of how more advanced his armor is. It's much more durable.
Absolutely. Now, another big giveaway of Mark 6 is how bulky it is up here in the kind of the ear area. I know that Mark 4 is not quite this bulky, but I know that Mark 6 is, and it latches here in the front, whereas older ones latch over here more towards the back of your shoulder. And that's just something I picked up, I don't know, looking at 3D models is the way I'll say it. So yeah, I definitely love that it has the individual shoulder pieces. It has the knee pieces, and it's armored probably so that it can put someone's knee, put his knee through someone's face. Also probably so he can do the superhero landing properly.
That's important.
Yeah. So all this is good. It totally levels it. The heavy boots that kind of cover everything. Everything looks accurate to me. The visor, Mark 6. The visor and helmet. It's kind of like Mark 4-ish up here and Mark 6-ish down here. Would you agree?
And the design, yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid Mark 4, Mark 6. But yeah, man, excited when Chief dropped in with the Spartans, Silver Team. And they immediately got to work. Like, it's almost like they already knew the battle plan.
Spartans waste no time.
That's right. So let's get to the HUD. Number one is you got your shield indicator here. You got your compass. Important things to have. You got your marked insurrectionist, marked Covenant Elite. You got your live markers. It's obviously not marking the dead bodies. You got your motion sensor here, with some information I can't tell. He has his grenade count up here. And let's see what else can we see. Not too much else that is super important. I'm not really looking deeply into this, but what do you think of this HUD view?
Well, I mean, it looks fine, but I'll say this on a side note. You see how it's orange?
Yes.
It's because he's in combat. So when he's in combat, it's orange, and then when he's not in combat, it's just regular blue.
Oh, I did not notice that in the show. I'll have to rewatch it. Hey, good eye. It also zoomed in 200%, which is great. So yeah. Of course, it doesn't have the reticle, which of course I said, me being just a troll. I was like, oh man, it's not lower accurate. There's no reticle right in the middle. But overall, I love this whole HUD view. How it shows you through Master Chief's eyes. Now, apparently, the Covenant know of the Chief, because right away they refer to him as Demon, which is the name he has earned for himself. What do you think about that, opening up the TV show with him having already earned his nickname?
Well, it takes place in 2552. The war started, almost 30 years prior, so he definitely still was known throughout the Covenant for sure, and therefore still earned the name.
Oh, the war started 30 years prior, 3552.
Around, yeah.
Yeah. So Harvest has already happened, I take it.
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. And 3552. Now, was Reach still around in 3552?
As far as I know, yeah, they just bolstered as they went along in the years, pretty much.
Right. Real quick, Crazy Greek Dude says the HUD first-person scenes were fine, but what bothered me were the sights/reticles when the Spartans were shooting. Could have done without it. Looked and felt disconnected. Very floaty. All right. I'll have to pull up a scene where they're shooting, but that whole floaty look, I don't know how it would look in a HUD, but I know that in the military, when we're looking through our red dots, the red dots kind of move depending on where you are to your weapon, if it's calibrated right. And they also look kind of floaty in real life. But I think this is more exaggerated, which I think is what you're referring to, Crazy Greek Dude. Shout out to my mom. She joins us as well. Hello, Mom. Got lots of fans. Be sure to like, guys, and again, share out the video. And
subscribe.
And all that good stuff. All right. So they've been fighting for 30 years, so it is accurate that he refers to him demon. So they've encountered him many times. I love this scene. Now, this is not Master Chief. This is somebody else from Silver Team. I forgot his name already. Not an important guy, probably.
Vanek.
Huh?
I believe it's a Vanek or something like that.
Vanek. How he impales an elite. Then you can see the elite feet. Again, lore accurate. Am I right on that?
More or less, yeah. They kind of look like pig's feet.
Like what?
Kind of. Pig's feet.
Pig's feet? Yeah. You know what? I have from when I went to Halo Outpost Discovery, I took a picture of an elite, but I did not take a picture of his feet. At Outpost Discovery, they had full-size models of these aliens. Very tall. So, yeah. Real quick, John 9079 says, Sup, Axel Lethal? Hey, thank you so much for joining us, John 9079. Be sure to chime in if we say anything that you feel is inaccurate, or if you see something that you want to add. Just let us know in the chat. I'll read it out and we'll talk about it. So this impaling scene was pretty cool, especially because it showed the Spartan strength by lifting them up. Elites are not light. Do we know in the lore about how much an elite weighs with their armor on?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but they weigh a pretty good bit for sure.
Yeah, I know that their armor is lighter than our armor, but that doesn't mean that they're light, because they are still taller than Spartans in general. So I'm going to say that this guy's probably pumping up maybe 500 to 600 pounds on this, I don't know, rod that can sustain 500 to 600 pounds. Right here, obviously using the pistol that I absolutely hate. I think this is the most useless weapon in the entire game. I don't know why it still exists. I absolutely despise it. So this one is the radio comm person, obviously, wearing the helmet of, I believe this is a recon helmet. Am I correct in that?
It does not look like a recon, I don't believe.
Well, let me see if we can identify this helmet. Let's see. Halo helmet types. Let's see. List of record helmets. Halo PDF. 10 best helmets. I just want to know what kind of helmets they are. Hopefully this thing has pictures, because all right, let's go through this together, chat. Let's see if we can find this helmet. All right, so this comes from Halo 5, which it has the most complete library of helmets that I know of. And we're just going to go until I kind of see a helmet that looks somewhat like it. I do know what I'm looking for. If memory serves me right. By the way, if you know. Oh, you haven't seen the show yet? Oh, man, you got to see it. It's I recommend it. So it looks a little like this Enforcer helmet. Don't you think they're lethal?
Yeah, there's some similarities, but see, Halo 5 has so many helmets, it's not even funny.
I think they have close to like 200 different helmets or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. Let's see. Enforcer helmet. I love if we get to see a lot of these different helmet types.
That'd be great.
No, it's definitely not Argonaut. Just going through the helmets real quick, chat. Bear with me. Enforcer Strong Arm. Also a little bit like it. Let me see if I can find this helmet. I really think it's a recon style helmet.
It has some similarities. I would say that.
Operator Gen 1, but it's obviously Mark 6, so it wouldn't be Gen 1. Recon. You're right. It's definitely not recon. Yeah, you are absolutely right. So let's just go with Enforcer. It's an Enforcer helmet.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm done with going with Enforcer. I think that one looks the most like it. Go to minimize that. Bring the thing back. All right. And then here we have another HUD view. The shield is going down as he's basically taking fire here. Has 0 grenades. Shield is starting to break over here. I love this view right here. And you can see 2 regular elites with a bulkier elite. I'm going to guess that this bulkier elite is a command elite of some kind.
Yes, that'd be an elite major.
An elite major. There we go. Dead bodies everywhere. Once again, I love how they didn't skip on the gore. I love that they didn't skip on the brutality.
It's great to showcase that.
Yeah. And then we move on to the Phantom. Not a great view of the Phantom, but it's still there. And then we get, Then we move on to Chief touching the relic. And he ends up having flashbacks. What do you think about this scene here, Lethal, where he touched the relic? He obviously had an elite around him. And he touched the relic, and the elite didn't do anything. What do you make of this scene?
It was all right. Nothing special, really. The memory is interesting, that's for sure. I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that either. From my understanding of the lore, Chief never lost his memories. He always knew he was conscripted. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about that real quick. There's an inconsistency with this TV show. And,
of course, it's not lore accurate. I get it.
Well, yeah, but it's complete opposite, actually, because in lore, Halsey chose to tell the Spartans what happened to them. Mm-hmm. In this one, they suppressed their memories instead. So they don't know.
Right. I did notice that in the show, they're treating them more like machines than humans.
Yeah.
As well. So that was very interesting. And we'll get to that later. So I am correct that Chief and the other Spartan 2s always knew that they were conscripted. And they still went along with it. Because of their age. All right, then we get to Reach. So Reach is a snowier planet. I know that much. I didn't expect it to be this snowy. Is that correct here, Lethal?
There is some snow in some parts of Reach, as we see in the game, but I think they did a good job with this depiction of it. It's interesting, the sprawling metropolis city. That's
right. I also like that it's FleetCom UNSC headquarters. Just to show how important Reach was to humanity. It was a very important planet for humanity.
Before it was their strongest military colony.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely housed the entire fleet for that entire sector, if I am not mistaken. When the Covenant took out Reach in in Halo Reach, it was basically the same as when the Japanese hit the entire Pacific fleet when they hit Pearl Harbor. It in essence crippled our fleet in that entire area, and Reach did the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was devastating.
Yeah. And then we get our first shots of Dr. Halsey. Now she's reviewing Master Chief John, as she calls him. And we get our first look at her. We also get our first look at who? Remind me who this is again.
Margaret Perengowski, head of ONI.
The head of ONI. So she's up there because even ONI doesn't follow the rules of the UNSC. Am I correct on that one too?
She is. ONI pretty much does their own thing. They're the intelligence sector of the UNSC. So they do all the covert operations, and they don't always do protocol.
Right. Real quick, John 909 says, I heard there was an uproar about a human being part of the Covenant. LOL. Yeah, there is. We'll talk about it here when we get to that scene. So this person apparently is funding her and her projects, and she's talking about her killing machines and how they got to the outpost too late, and that it's not a good look for the propaganda that they're trying to run, which is to get the rebellious colonies into the UNSC without killing them. So that scene was very important to me. And of course, here we see the project that Dr. Halsey is working on, and that is a clone of herself. Now, in the lore, this is a Flash clone, and Dr. Halsey created, I believe, 4 Flash clones. Am I correct on that?
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think she created 4 Flash clones to make 4 AI matrices for Cortanas. Keyword here, Cortanas. And then she could turn them on one at a time. And the reason you need to, well, maybe Lethal can say this better. Why does Dr. Halsey need Flash clones of herself?
She's basically harvesting their brains. It sounds awful, it is, but they're using it for the Matrix for Cortana to make it. Because instead of unlike other AI, Cortana is special because it comes directly from Cortana or Halsey's brain.
Yeah, so I believe the Cortana is an organic AI, which was a new type of AI at the time. This is pre-Roland. I know Roland didn't require the same, but the Cortana models did, which I believe were Gen 4 models. And they usually used the brains of people who were basically terminally ill. Am I correct on that before? Volunteers, if you will.
Yeah, I don't quite remember that in specific.
Right. Real quick, shout out to the Graphic God, Evening Axle Gaming. Thank you so much, Graphic God, for stopping by. Your support means a lot to us. Be sure to hit that like button. So, and in order to make the organic AI, they take the brain, parts of the brain, and insert it into the matrix, and that ends up, in essence, it kills the donor brain. It kills the donor in general. And so Dr. Halsey, who wants a super intelligent AI, doesn't believe that anybody in the universe is smarter than her. So she's flash cloning herself to basically kill herself.
More or less, yeah. It's the same thing she did with the Spartan clones.
Yeah. With the when they kidnapped them. Yes. I love this shot right here. So here's the Covenant High Charity Covenant Command. I love this shot. It's not completely lore accurate, but I love that it's in the show. And I love that it shows the scale. So here are the Covenant battleships, and they just disappear into little dots on the how big High Charity is. Now, High Charity is built off of piece of, was it mendicant bias or offensive bias? The Covenant, the Forerunner ship.
It was a fragment of mendicant bias that they had on High Charity.
There we go, a fragment of mendicant. Yeah. So they have it's basically a spaceship city built on top of a spaceship. This is how they make their great journey. And this city is massive. This entire thing, they had their own rebellions in here that they had to take care of. This is don't get it twisted. This thing is massive. It's basically, I know that in Halo 3 they don't show it as big as planetary size, but it's pretty close to continent size. So in the lore. So I love this shot. What do you think of this shot, Lethal?
It's different from the games, of course, but I like the design. The design is interesting, and I'm glad they chose to actually showcase it.
Yes. Love it all. All right, here we go. The human in the Covenant. First off, I don't know what the role of this human is. I don't know why she's dressed weird. I don't know why it's a she, because in the lore, as far as I know, there were no human sympathizers or empathizers or anything let into the Covenant, specifically because the prophets knew that the humans were the reclaimers, and that went against everything they stood, which is why they hated humanity so much and why they wanted to destroy us. in our entirety. They were going for full genocide. So the fact that they have a human is surprising to me. Now, I don't know the lore like our lore master knows, so I am surprised by this scene. Lethal, what do you think of this?
Well, it definitely goes against everything we know about the Covenants and what they do. Of course, it's a silver timeline, so I'm okay with, I guess, seeing where they take it, but it's definitely not canonical at all. They refer to her as the Blessed One pretty much in this, and so here they just seem to kind of incorporate what she brings and how she can interact with these foreigner terminals to their use.
Right. Real quick, going into the chat on 1970, Chrome Pony says, "Happy late birthday, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Big 40. I'm old, man. I'm old." Crazy Greek Dude in the chat gives us a theory. "I feel like she was kidnapped as an infant. They're using her to understand the human race. I don't know, though. That's what I got from it." Let's go with that. Let me talk about that. So, what is lore accurate is that the Forerunner tech does not respond to anybody except humanity because that's who it was coded for. So it would kind of make sense that they figure out that it's coded for us, so they kidnap a person, brainwash her to being quote unquote the blessed one, to being the one who talks with the relics, like her, or she found out that she could, and maybe that's how she's been surviving this whole time. Maybe she's an unwilling participant and does it only to survive. It's going to be very interesting to see where they take this. Now, am I right on that one that the Forerunner tech does not really respond to them? Is that correct?
And that is correct. It's only humans that are response to nobody else.
Right. She speaks and understands the language. You're right, man. That has to have taken years to do.
Yeah, she must have been there since an early age.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she looks young, but for all we know, maybe she's, Halo 30. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see where they take this. This is where it completely splits from the lore. And my wife chimes in. "I said the same thing to Axel. She was kidnapped, unwilling participant." Like I said, maybe she's doing it just to survive. Maybe this is her means of survival, to not be killed. Because as we said, the Covenant, the Shanshayun, how do you say that again?
The Sunshine, yeah.
Sanshayun, they don't like humans at all. So the fact that they're keeping one around specifically to communicate with tech is very interesting. And we'll see why she's there. Now, I love this scene, right? I love the entire design of this species. The little hanging pieces of skin here. It doesn't have the big hanging ears, but the hair, the eyes, how they're not really pupils, the wrinkles to show that they're aged to be prophets, the hands. I love this design of the species of the Shanshayun prophets. What do you think, Lethal?
I think they did a very good job with this design overall. Yeah, it doesn't have the droopy ears, but I think they knocked it out of the park with every aspect of this design for the Sunshine. Did a very good job.
Absolutely. I love it. I love how it has their little fingerprints here for their 3 or 4 finger hands that they got. John 979 says it's all possible. Definitely going to check it out. It's good to add mystery to a show. Some people are really upset that it's not lore accurate. I kind of like that it's a little alternate Halo universe, a little Haloverse, if you will. People can follow multiple Batman universes or, Marvel universes. Why can't Halo have its own multiverse? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. A lot of the lore fans are very finicky with this kind of stuff. I'm not. I'm okay with seeing where it goes because I know it's not lore accurate. So I'm fine with seeing where they try to take it.
Me too. As long as they take it someplace good. Now she's carrying a book called Dawn Angels. The Dawn Angels. Do you know anything about this book? Because let me look it up. Do you know anything about this book there, Lethal?
I do not know.
Let me look for this book, The Dawn Angels. The Dawn Angels. Good reads. Is there a cliff notes of this? Cliff notes. Cliff notes about Housemaid of Dawn. Dawn. Nope, I guess not. All right, so we're just going to read the Amazon description of the Dawn Angels. Let's check it out. See if this is how we're going to tie this to the Lord, Lethal. We're going to make it up on the fly.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's see. Left by her mother at a young age, Kyra has grown up in the foster system, leaving her angry and hateful towards the world. The only person she can trust is Hammond, her caseworker who has watched over her since the time her mother left. When Hammond places Kyra in foster home located in a small town, strange things begin to happen, and Kyra starts unraveling the mystery of her past. We're here. Kyra's life is threatened. She's saved by an angel, her guardian angel, Asher, who falls from heaven to save her. Together, Asher and Kyra must figure out why her life is in danger and stop a strange cult from bringing about the end of days. Okay. So it could be that she is a foster kid, abandoned by her parents and being taken care of by the Covenant. Could have some similarities. And maybe she is angry at humanity because she was left behind to die. Maybe abandoned. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting those kind of vibes from it. Definitely some interesting things here that kind of tie into what we see from the show.
Yeah. So it could have some close-ups. Let's see. Crazy Greek to do. IIRC. He wants her to learn and translate the book. So I wonder if she even speaks English. Is she teaching herself? That is a good question. He does talk about that she keeps it to learn about her species. So that once again says that whole thing that she was taken at a very young age. She doesn't know about humanity or her own humanity. So yeah, she is going to be a very interesting character. I'm excited about it because we haven't had anything this interested in the Haloverse in some time. If you agree with me,
we haven't had this. Oh yeah, absolutely. We haven't had this kind of human aspects, antagonist, I should say. The insurrectionists were never really important in the lore, so this is kind of the first main stage kind of thing for an antagonist human.
Yeah, but so that you might better know, how they think. It was the next line on this, I believe. So yeah, you're right, Crazy Greek dude. You're absolutely right. Maybe it's so that she learns something about anger. All right, we go on to Miranda Keys. Now, I was very excited when I heard the name Miranda Keys, mainly because of Halo 2 and 3. She is a very important person in the Haloverse. And now I didn't watch any spoilers or anything, right? So I was very intrigued by this. Oh, stopping real quick. Crazy Greek dude says, I agree. It's a mystery, and I think it will really drive the story. Absolutely. Because maybe she will come to her senses and join humanity, or maybe she'll, martyr for the Covenant. You never know. Maybe she'll be an arbiter. Who knows? So Miranda shows up. Now, in the Halo universe, Miranda was not African descent, but in the Halo show, she is, which I have zero problems with. The character importance is still there. So I love this Miranda Keys that we got to see her, especially pre-Captain Miranda Keys. Is that correct there, Lethal?
I don't know how they're treating her in this one. She might not be a captain yet. Yeah, she might be basically just the front face, as they kind of said, to talk with the other people, try to calm them down and whatnot.
Yeah, and also she's being used as a researcher, which is kind of not what she did in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Is that part of her resume?
Not really, as far as I know. They said that it was her division pretty much for these kinds of artifact and technology.
Right. We move back to Dr. Halsey. Now, the reason I put this in here is because you get to see Dr. Halsey's face. definitely does not look close to the Dr. Halsey I'm anticipating, but not really here or there. And here's John, Master Chief's neural pathways, it looks like, or maybe circulatory system. And here's I'm going to guess a not so smart scientist because he's just kind of repeating the obvious to her.
Yeah, just
I don't know. I kind of felt that he was kind of a useless character, in my opinion.
Yeah, more or less.
But they're seeing how John's body reacted to it. Now, we all know that in the Halo lore, John is a reclaimer, somebody who can really take control of the tech if he wants to, once he learns to. So these kind of reactions might be important to the show. What do you think of this scene here, Lethal? Nothing important?
Yeah, not too much, I'd say. Basically just analyzing all the things that this Forerunner technology did. I'll say that it seems that Halsey didn't understand what this device was, so this may be your first interaction with the Forerunner device in this timeline of any kind.
Right. They also do lead to the when she's talking, she's like, "Oh, this is like nothing else we've ever seen." So it's obvious that they've never run into in the show. Now, obviously, in the game it's different, but in the show, they had not run into any Forerunner tech at this time. Whereas I believe 30 years in, they had already run into Forerunner tech. Am I correct on that one in the game? By 3052, they had run into Forerunner tech. I believe Swordbase was on Forerunner tech, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so a little, once again, offshoot of the game. Dreadpool is in. Hey, what's up, everyone? Dreadpool, thank you so much for dropping in, buddy. Appreciate you. Be sure to hit the like button. The status report, everything's good. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I included this. I just did. Oh, this is when he did his self-diagnostic. Everything is good, but nothing is 100%. Kind of interesting. So, yeah, he ran that self-diagnostic. All right, here's Captain Keys. And in this scene, we find out that Dr. Halsey is Captain Miranda, or, well, soon to be Captain Miranda Keys' mother. Now, I was shaken back, because I was like, that's not in the game. But, Lethal, correct me, sir.
Yeah, so Halsey actually did have a thing with Keys in the books, and if you did pay attention in Halo 5, which I don't blame if you didn't, but the very first scene, it's Halsey going to her lab, and she does have a picture of Miranda Keys there. So, yeah, you can definitely piece together that, they weren't close, but they are family.
Ah, there you go. So, lore accurate. This is Dr. Halsey's daughter. So I'm actually shocked now. And at first I was like, I have a problem with that. But now that I know that it's lore accurate, I have less of a problem with it. It's kind of weird how that works, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, here's Captain Keys. Love him. Love everything about Captain Keys. Captain Keys is a hero. Salute to you, sir. All right. So here we go to Haquan. Article 1772. She's to be terminated. She's over here eating a slopper burger with some grits and protein bars. I don't know what this is. Just a bunch of goop. So he gets an Article 72. Now, this is really interesting here because this is where Master Chief basically just stops obeying orders and starts thinking. Which, again, the Admiral lady, this lady here, she treats the Spartans more like machines and not humans. Because, and again, I believe she does that because I believe that's how Dr. Halsey sold them. So here, Master Chief has an Article 72 to kill Quan, and he kind of stops to think about it for no reason. The artifact is being used as the catalyst that freed him from his blind obedience. What do you think about that?
Well, this is where the Shift comes in for sure this scene, because right after that he basically just starts questioning things and doesn't go with what he's been told to do. I suppose, yeah, the foreign artifacts, which he saw memories, I guess, kind of instilled that seed into him that, something's not right here.
Right. Now, in the lore, Spartans are trained to execute orders, but they are not trained to be thoughtless killers. If that makes any sense. They're trained to be efficient, to fight the enemy.
Yes.
They are not trained to be executioners and murderers. Am I correct on that in the lore?
Well, yeah, some of them would. Even like in the scene here, Chief was ordered to kill, her mother, but that's not really their thing. They do. They don't usually do that. That's not always what they're deployed to do.
Right. They are deployed to kill high value targets. Halo 5, when Osiris was deployed to kill that high value useless Covenant leader that died in Jolamdana.
Yeah.
Cool name, terrible leader.
Poor guy.
But he, as I said, they are used to execute high value targets, but they're not used as executioners to prisoners that I'm aware of. So yeah. John 9079 says should have went to Fatburger. Yeah, out in the middle of space. They should have definitely stopped there at a trading post. So yeah, this is where Chief starts thinking about that, and who knows? Maybe this is the first time he's been ordered to kill a prisoner. Who knows? But there was some sort of catalyst. Of course, he's disobeying. Pelican is coming in via override. He disables the. He re-engages the oxygen in his suit in the ship, and they start taking off autopilot. And so all these guys are coming in. I love this because it shows him like spitting out. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Quite intense.
Yeah. Spitting out commands, as is very normal in military structure. You spit out commands. It's the only way they know what to do, guys. Trust me. But I want to talk about the armor. The UNSC Marine armor. I love that it's basically Halo Spartan armor light. You can tell it's definitely not Mjolnir Gen 6. It's more like, ballistics Gen 6.
Yeah, it reminds me of Halo 2 Anniversary's armor, kind of, with the metallic pieces and whatnot. Definitely got vibes from that. And a bit of Halo 3 with the caps.
Yeah, exactly. I love everything. The regular helmets, you got some guys over here with soft caps, which is out of uniform in my opinion. But I love that they also have the cameras, because if you remember in Halo Combat Evolved, Jensen had a camera that looked just like this. And Jensen being the guy that recorded the flood. We got another one from John 9079. I bet she was thinking that, looking at that goop. No wonder she wasn't eating. Yeah, that's disgusting. I'd have to be real hungry to eat that.
Oh yeah.
But here we go. All right, so here Dr. Halsey is bringing in Silver Team. Now, if you remember earlier in the show, Chief sent Silver Team ahead early, so they already landed on Reach. Dr. Halsey activates them basically to protect John. Not to engage him, just to protect him if they start shooting at him or any of that stuff, right? Because the Admiral gave the order to basically kill him, which makes no sense to me. Why would you order a Spartan to be killed and not brought back for analysis? Like, I don't understand what this Admiral has against Spartans. Yet, I have no idea why she does that, which once again goes back to that whole treating them more like machines than humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Perangowski just has low tolerance for Halsey at this point already. And, she'll go along with the Spartans, but doesn't mean she likes them. And if these Spartans are being disobedient, then given their capabilities, they can't be, toyed with at all. It has to be dealt with seriously. But with Halsey's like a mother to these Spartans. Each Spartan she has a relationship with them because she's been with them since they were a child.
Yeah, and a lot of them call her mom or mother in the lore as well.
Or are
And
you
so
referring to George?
George called her ma'am, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not mom, but ma'am.
I know that's what you're referring to.
Yeah. But yeah, so here she activates her Spartans, and I love how they're talking about threats. You know, that where, and they even say where to shoot our own people. And they have a little meaty conversation, basically showing just how tight these Spartans are to each other. You got to remember, these guys trained together from 5, 6 years old, and the training was gruesome, and over half of them didn't survive. So the ones that did survive, they are very, very close, tight knit group. Always mission first, but very tight.
Yeah, they're family,
So,
all of them.
yeah, so this makes sense that they're there to protect each other. And even though, like, who was it? Blue team. One of them is an officer. Which one is the officer in blue team? Who's in blue team?
Fred.
Fred. Yes, Fred is the officer. So technically, he outranks Chief, but he still does what Chief tells him. So there's a huge amount of respect that these Spartans put on John. All right, we're joined. Sorry to interrupt you, Lethal. I'll let you talk in a minute. Real quick, Eternal Shaddai joins us. Good evening, everybody. Hey, Eternal. Thank you so much for tuning in. Doggy Dog, my fellow cast member here for the Iconic Video Games Podcast, is here. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Be sure to hit that like button and share it out. I'm sorry, Lethal, you were saying.
Oh, no, I wasn't really saying anything. I was just saying Fred was Fred, Linda, and Kelly were the members of Blue Team.
Yeah, and Fred was the officer, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, he technically leads Blue Team, but like, takes a backseat pretty much. Kind of lets John do it.
Yeah, do what he does. And here is the big moment. Now, I'm conflicted about this moment for several reasons, so we're going to go over it. First off, I love the armor look. Amazing. He's got like a little yin-yangish insignia here. I'll have to look it up to see what it is. Do you know this insignia?
Yeah, I do. It's the Silver Team emblem, kind of like Blue Team has their emblem. This is just a Silver Team variant.
Okay, so it's part of his team. Okay. I love the 117 on there. Everything. The removal of the helmet. So the removal of the helmet, I knew was coming. I didn't know it was coming in episode 1. And Master Chief is known for his helmet and always having it on. And I'm very conflicted with this because I just kind of thought that it would come at a much more important moment than telling a little kid who can't kill you to shoot you in the eyes to gain her trust. I feel like you could have done that without taking off your helmet, in my opinion. So that's what I believe. Now, the other logical reason I can think of him taking off his helmet is because the oxygen was still cut off to his suit. So maybe he couldn't breathe. So, yeah, I have no idea. Like, I feel that the moment was just rushed to remove his helmet. Nothing against the actor, nothing like that. It's just the moment. What do you think about this moment here, Lethal?
Yeah, I agree. They did it far too early, in my opinion. They could have done it at a much more impactful moment, and they just chose to get it out of the way. I think the actor did say something along the lines of, you got to know the character you're, looking at, that you're relating to, or whatever. You got to see his face to relate to him, and that's not really true. We haven't had to see Chief's face in the games to relate to him, There's emotion there, even without his helmet's off.
Absolutely. Now I don't want to get this mixed up, all right? I do believe that the actor has every right for wanting his face to be seen as the Master Chief in this show. And I believe that too. Like, if, I don't want this to turn into another Star Wars Darth Vader thing where one person played Darth Vader and another person voiced him. And that I know that actor became disgruntled because it wasn't even his voice. He was just the body, and you never got to see his face until the end. So, I feel like I do believe that this actor wanted his face to be seen more. Pablo, what's his name? Pablo something.
I forget.
It's kind of it's not a hard name. I just forget it. Let's see, Master Chief actor, not Steve Downs. Pablo Schreiber. Pablo Schreiber. Yeah. So John on 07I says, similar to when the Mandalorian took off his helmet. Exactly. Like that was a real scene when he took his helmet off. Obviously, he took his helmet off other in the show, but nobody saw him. But when he finally showed his face, that was a moment, man. And it's ingrained in you. Now, the Chief is not a Mandalorian. He can take his helmet off and show his face to whoever he wants. I just feel that this was not the appropriate time. That's
I agree.
And then, of course, the moderator in chief, they're bringing in everything. Now, I love this scene here because it shows the entirety of the army. You got Silver Team. You got a big old Pelican back here, fully armed. I mean, look at those missiles. It's ready to go. All this for one Spartan, which they probably should. But I love how tall and imposing the Spartans are. Like the whole scene, the whole lead up to it. It's so intense. When they're walking between humans, everybody else is running and they're just walking. Very, commanding, if you will. Very imposing. And people move out of their way. They don't walk around people. So I love the entirety of this setup here, this whole intensity of setting up this scene and how close it came to basically firing rounds. What do you think of this scene here? The whole escape scene, landing and escape scene.
I think the reaction was appropriate for sure. You don't take a risk with someone like Master Chief. The reputation this guy has doesn't matter if it's overkill. No, it's nothing's overkill with a Spartan. You have to make sure that you have the situation under control. And yeah, the Spartans walking, the way they look, the imposing presence of them, it's definitely appropriate, and you knew something was about to go down.
Yeah, this scene was so intense. I definitely thought that everybody was just going to start shooting everybody. I thought it was going to come down to bullets, especially when they hit the ship with that EMP. And Master Chief uses the artifact even subconsciously to power the ship, because they do carry their own power. They do have their own energy about them, so that is lore accurate. Yeah. Oh, hold on. We got something from John 9079 real quick. Shame it was underwhelming. They seem to have similar codes. I'm going to assume you mean the similar codes to the Mandalorian. I just don't understand it because I know Chief takes his helmet off to eat when he's out of bio stuff to eat in his suit. I know that he takes it off to rest. I know that it weighs a ton, and he takes it off to maintenance it, but he doesn't take it off just to take it off. So, yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
One thing, Crazy Greek Dude says, one thing I hope they change in the coming episodes is the sound/volume of the Spartan voices. It was very muffled. It was like listening to an Xbox Live Party on PC. Horrible. It sounded fantastic on my surround sound, Crazy Greek Dude. I don't know what to say. I was watching through the Xbox app, and I was hearing it just fine, but I also pay for Dolby Atmos, so that could be something too. Looking forward to checking it out, though. Yeah, definitely look at it, John. Mandalorian is muffled as well when the helmet is on, but still clear and loud. Absolutely. Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, that they kind of sound like they have their whole thing covering their face. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I understood it quite well. It didn't bother me any. But I understand everybody's ears are different. Not everybody picks up every sound frequency the same. Real quick, what did you think about the way they sounded?
Well, I think Vanek sounds great. He's got a good voice.
Yeah,
the other Spartans just found fine. Chief sounded a little strange in my opinion, but I don't care too much about it. It sounded okay, I guess.
Right. So Crazy Greek Dude says I was watching from the Xbox app and do have Atmos also. Ooh, I'm not sure what to say here. Here, crazy Greek dude. So in general, voices come out quieter in surround sound system. So I turn the center volume quite high on my Atmos system in comparison to everything else. So yeah, that's just the way I have my Atmos set up. Because as you said, sometimes voices are hard to hear, but the muffled thing, I'm not sure how they're going to fix that without reshooting or re-recording. But hey, at least it sounds better than what was it? The Batman, not the Batman, but the third Batman from is it Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane had his mask on.
Oh
At least
yeah,
it sounds better than that.
yeah, that's fair.
It sounded fine in the later scenes, but in the opening scene during the firefight, was not great compared to the rest going on. Yes, center sound is up, and Bane, yeah. I know. I don't know how to help you, crazy Greek dude. I'm not tech support, man. Turn on the subtitles. Sorry, Greek. Yeah, I don't know. It all sounded great to me on my system, and I don't have an expensive surround sound system or anything. I got mine from Walmart, so it is what it is. But anyways, where were we on our discussion here? Oh, the imposing of Silver Team and how everything came down. What do you think about Chief using the artifact to power the Pelican?
Well, I think he didn't know what was going to happen, but it was worth a shot, I guess, especially when you have odds like that. You have nothing else to resort to. You might as well try this thing that seems, powerful.
Yeah, it seems to have its own power supply. And of course, here we get another flashback, and Chief, or John here, young John, baby John, is drawing the very artifact that he finds. Which, again, now I know that Librarian did ingrain some humans with memories. Is that correct, Lethal?
I don't quite recall
I
that
think there
off
was
the
a
top of my head.
bloodline that got ingrained with memories, a very specific bloodline from, I forget which Halo ring it was. But if my recollection of the lore serves me, I do believe that some humans were ingrained with memories that needed to be unlocked, or that would be unlocked when they ascended, I guess, when their biology changed enough
Right.
to remember, which humanity's biology still has not changed enough. If this is lore accurate, if it's lore accurate. So yeah, so here we see Master Chief possibly having some memories. So what do you think of
It
this?
could be I think it could be the picture itself could be just a false memory or placement of whatever the thing actually was. It's
Oh,
possible.
that's a very good point. Yeah, maybe the artifact is making up memories for him. Instead of him having his own memories, it's making them up for him because he doesn't have any. That could be very interesting. That would be the plot twist of the century. What do you think about
Well,
that possibility?
well, I'm not too sure about that, but it'd be interesting if they do that. I was just trying to say that the drawing maybe doesn't recall what the drawing was, so the basically just filling the gaps in pretty much.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Just kind of splicing in whatever he can in there,
Yeah.
memory wise. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I went out for way out of left field on that one. All right, let's see. John on 079 says the dark scene with Bane and Batman was epic. Yes, it was.
Sure was.
Yes, it was. And that's gonna do it. Overall, what would you rate this episode, Lethal?
Ooh. It's a tough one. I'd say like 81 or something. It's good for what it is, and I don't hate it. I'm not going to hate on it just because it's not canonically accurate. Again, it's Silver Timeline for a reason. They could have done stuff better, of course, but I'm not one to judge it too harshly. And there was some good elements in there, so fair, solid, 81 or so.
I rank this as an 8 overall, which is very respectable. I also said that I love how they got a lot of the backstory, lore, and relationships in there out of the way, with the exception of this female here. But they talked about how they've been fighting for 20 years, how the rebellions are still going, and they're trying to bring him in. Um, you know, the whole, your funding's about to get cut off, threats, which leaders tend to do a lot. I don't know why. The backstory of her, that Master Chief basically killed her mom, all that stuff. I do love that they got a lot of the backstory at least mentioned and out of the way in this story. So maybe the next one will be better, or maybe more action oriented. Although I don't know, that opening sequence was it was amazing.
It was good. It's good.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think the next episode is going to be about? Let's do a little prediction. Knowing what you know, what do you think the next episode is?
Well, now that Chief has gone rogue, basically, I'd say that
we're going to see Locke. Locke is coming out.
So I know that Soren was mentioned. You know who Soren is?
I do not know who Soren is.
Soren was Spartan 2 program. And Lori was I believe the first Spartan to rebel against the UNSC pretty much.
Oh.
And I believe they had a protocol against him, Protocol Soren or whatever, Spartan goes rogue or something along those lines. So knowing that Soren is in the show, I think Chief is going to encounter Soren at some point, and they're going to do something together, work together or something.
Yeah. I think this whole show is going to be basically Chief running from site to site to stay away, and maybe getting little, under the table help from Dr. Halsey here and there,
right?
Until he can finally get a hold of Cortana. And I'm saying that Cortana will probably be introduced in the last episode, if I'm being honest, or second to last episode, because Cortana in the lore didn't come into existence until Reach was basically on its last leg. Am I accurate on that statement?
Yeah, more or less. It's Chief and Cortana actually don't know each other very long in lore.
Yeah. So I think if this show is already going to introduce Cortana, I think Reach is going to fall or begin to fall at the end of the season. That's where I think it's going to go.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. John 907I says, oh, okay, got to give it at least 3 episodes to get the feel for it. Definitely. Crazy Greek Dude says, John, only 1 episode. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Crazy Greek Dude. Do you mean that the next episode is going to be all about John? Oh, no. Sorry. He was answering John. He was answering John 907I. I'm sorry. I didn't read that far back. Okay. All right. With all that being said, any final thoughts on this, Lethal?
I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to watch every episode, and I want to see what they bring.
Definitely. Me too. I'm very interested in that human in the Covenant, to see where she goes. And like I said, there hasn't been a mystery this big in the Halo verse for a very long time. So I'm excited for it. And I am excited for this show. I'm loving it so far, and I think I'm going to enjoy all 9 episodes of it. And obviously, Xbox and Phil Spencer and them, they love the show enough that they've already greenlit season 2. So that's fantastic for us as Halo buffs. If that's all you got,
yeah, that's about it.
All right, everybody. So I'm Axle1324. Lethal, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me Lethal Terminus on Xbox and at Lethal Terminus on Twitter.
There you go. Be sure to give him an answer. Be sure to give him a follow. If you have any questions related to Halo, he's more than happy to answer. He loves talking about Halo. Trust me.
Always.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for this week. This is going to be a weekly occurring episode every Sunday. At this time, we're just going to talk about the latest episode of the Halo show. It's obviously this series is only going to be 7 episodes long, but be sure to tune in. Catch you guys next time. Oh, wrong button.